Okay, I'm going to show you how, this is the idea that you're going to have a cube and you should be able to get like 3 or 4 onto a piece of paper and just they're small little bits. So I'm going to show you how I do the sphere, okay? So we found in class today that it might be easy to cut this out, okay? All right. What I'm going to use to trace, and this is my little map telling me the 1s are the brightest, 4 is the darkest. And I'm going to rub my graphite on the back, okay? Okay, and this is what this says, round and forward, soft edges, implied edges that shift gradually. So where the dotted lines are is where you can see I want to have it gradually go from brightest to middle to dark. Okay, so they're kind of more like zones, right? Do you see that? And then everything that's not the dotted line here is like, nope, that's actually, this goes from bright white to number 4, darkest dark, or brightest bright to a number 3 dark, right? Okay, so I'm going to put this on here. You can place it. I'm going to put it in the corner here. Just put it in the corner so you have plenty of room to do the other ones. I'm going to take a pen. I'm just going to trace my I didn't even trace it perfectly. And I know these are dotted lines. I'm just tracing them on there straight. So it's pretty sad looking. I can take my pencil, whoops, take my pencil and fix it if I need to. Lightly, always if I take my pencil on here, I want to draw really lightly. I'm going to be scratching away. You really can't erase just be careful. I mean, you can erase, but it really tends to scratch. All right, so I'm doing all this with my pointed one. Maybe I'll do another one next time with my sharp one. So what I recommended is just like with those 100 lines and descending lines we just did for your meditative drawing. I'm going to start by, I want to figure out where it says number 4 is the darkest. I don't want to clear that. So that's my number 1 thing. I don't want to clear away where this needs to say the darkest, right? And I don't want to trace over any of these pencil lines. I don't want to scratch away any of those. So I'm going to start by clearing what's around the brightest. I mean, what's around the darkest, the cast shadow, which is going to be the brightest. Cool? That's going to be my brightest thing up against the darkest thing. So I don't need to make it super bright right off the bat. I'm going to build it up. Okay, and notice how I turn my paper. And I'm just going right up to the edge where the cast shadow shape that I need to leave as number 4 is. And then I'm going right up to the side of the sphere, and I'm just scratching around it. So this is like those meditative lines. And I can put some more around here. The more I put, this is the tabletop, right? Or floor, or whatever this sphere is sitting on. I can scrape some here. So there, so this right now, I've made this my brightest around everything else, right? And around my darkest one. I might want to make it even brighter. And one of the best ways to do that is with, this is all hatching, all these lines go in the same direction. I can do this with cross hatching. So I'm going to take some diagonal lines, right? I'm going diagonal this way. And I don't even need to make all the lines at once. And I make very thin lines, right? And then again, I'm using the pointed scratcher. So I can do them in little batches here. And this is making this whole area. Again, I might want to turn my and what I'm doing here is I'm going back and I see how like these I had more space in between. So I'm putting a few more in between there. right? So that looks brighter even than it was before. And I could do another set if I want. I could do verticals this way, and this is going to get even brighter, okay? I'm clearing quite a bit. So this is my third layer on here. So you kind of want to work that way. And what's nice is it has its own little texture and language to it. Okay, I'm kind of working fast, so you guys don't have to sit there. I could, if I wanted to, even do another one and do some verticals if I wanted. But now I'm going to move on, and I'm going to deal with, this is the trickiest part. The ball is 1, 2, and 3 in zones, okay? So I'm going to make them all 3s first, and then I'm going to make the 2 in the one area brighter, and then finally the 1 the brightest. Kind of like the way I made this whole area went from really kind of like a 2 to a 1. Right, by layering on top of it. So I'm going to do this in different ways. So I could do it just like straight across if I wanted to. So if I wanted to just put straight lines over the whole area. Right. And you might not, I can still see my pencil lines underneath there. Okay, so that just covers the whole. So now at least the whole ball looks, it doesn't look like a ball right now, it just looks like a flat circle, but it looks darker than the cast shadow, right? Now I could do, I might even do these, I'm going to do the 2 area. I'm going to scratch over the 2 area a little more. So notice how I scratched, and I kind of kept that crescent shape here, right? Kind of like this here. So I scratched down, and when I went to that spot, I stopped. And I might need to make a little, another layer of scratched coming down. And what's tricky here is I need to make sure I go all the way to this side too. So see how it's a little darker underneath here, right? And now I want to make the center part the brightest, and I don't want there to be a sharp edge there. I want it to fade out too. So I might, maybe I'll do a little diagonal in there like I did before. So I'm doing some diagonals, and I'm kind of loosely getting that shape in there. And now I might go this way. And to start, I'm not putting them too close together. So I'm getting that zone, and then I might go this direction. And now I'm getting tighter. I'm making that a little closer and closer, and I get this gradation. And then I can step back and look at it and be like, oh, this is kind of nice and gradual here, but it's a little too abrupt here. So when that happens, I might have to just fan some out this way, which means everything might have to get a little shifted a little bit. But this is how I made, I had a map of where it's going to go from light to dark, right? It's brightest to the darkest side, and it's opposite this cast shadow, right? And I just might want this to come down a little bit more. Cool, can you kind of see that? So that's my style, like all scratchy like this. And then right now, my cast shadow and the negative space are the same. And for my notes on this, my little map, these should be a 2 or a 3. So let's try making them a 3 and then decide if we want to make them even brighter than that. So this is where I could just say, all right, maybe I just put some, if I spread out some lines and they have a good amount of space around in between them, that won't read as very bright. But what's nice is it kind of reinforces that space. Oops. So I accidentally scratched too much in there. That's kind of cool. So that works. I could do a, you can see how when you're just like doing these hatches, I can turn it and kind of extend it this way. And just like that drawing exercise, the meditative drawing exercise, I could just go back and look in between and see where I want to put some pieces in between. Cool. So up close, this doesn't necessarily look super elegant, but from a distance, right, it starts to really look like, I think so. Well, it's not that great, but here I'm putting some marks in here that curve this way. Maybe what I would do is make this look even brighter. So I could go back in here and really brighten this up. I might take my other scratchboard tip. There. So everything's relative. I just make this brighter and it'll make this look darker. Right? I haven't changed this, but because I made the stuff around it look brighter, then something looks darker, and vice versa. If I've left something looking really dark. Okay, so the checkpoints on all these is that I have the map still kind of adds up, and I have not traced any of these. I have not scratched any of those lines out. They're all called implied edges. Nice, beautiful. We'll just leave it as that for now. Okay.